All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and get stuff all set up to weather. Pop out the chat, just making sure I have everything up and good to go. Okay. If I see your chat, I'll try to keep a watch on it. All right. Let's look up some battle droids real quick so I can get the paint down. Sweet. Okay. So need some black, some like browns. And if you can hear me breathe, or I'm breathing too much, sorry. Like I said, new mic. Not new, but I'm using a different setup from what I'm used to. I thought not. How's it going, Cal? Cal, how's my mic sounding? Is it all right? I'm using my Astro headset, so I don't know if it's too quiet or not. I'm also trying to adjust it and have a fine balance between the space between my face so it doesn't have constant breathing. What's the score of the Penn State WVU game? I'm not watching it right now, so what are they sitting at? I'm just kind of getting everything set up too, so if you hear some random clanks, I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna step away for a second. Gotta grab some paper towels. When you're weathering, you need paper towels. Delay to a thunderstorm. Well, at least the punishment is stopped for a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna see something real quick. So with this, I did make a silver undercoat, and so I think if, yeah, you see how I scraped that? I should be able to get some good good stick through of the silver, I guess. So I'm gonna hurry and do that, and then I'm gonna start painting. It's not showing up that great on camera, so I am gonna skip that part. I'll just use rub and buff if I do anything. Okay, where do I want to start? I think we should start with the eyes. So this part right here is supposed to be black. So I am going to paint that. Just adjusting some stuff real quick. Need to go grab kind of a paper plate to use as a palette, so I'll be right back. Alright. So with this first little bit, just going to be using some acrylics on the eyes. I'm going to seal it and everything, so the acrylic I use isn't really like the best acrylic ever, but it gets the job done, and if you seal it, it doesn't really matter, it won't come off. And probably a better way than just painting by hand. I mean, painting by hand's quick and easy, but probably a better way would be using the airbrush, but I'd have to mask off everything, and I don't want to do that. But I am working on the new workbench right now. I'm kind of looking at kind of where the camera would go. I might have to adjust how I have it, because like when I paint like this, I'm kind of blocking stuff and I don't want to block it. So I'll have to play around with it a little bit, but today it will do. So we're going to take this, no, it's too small. 2 seconds. Also, again, if I'm breathing in the mic, I'm sorry. And I don't have to get too precise and too in the lines, because this is all going to be painted over and weathered, and so you just gotta get kind of close. Something kind of cool if I make another droid is if on the AMS system right here on the eyes I use like a white filament instead of a black filament, and I don't paint it over. I could open up the bottom side of the droid and put LEDs in it, and then I could make like eyes that glow. So what's Pat McAfee doing right now? Is he just complaining about the hellstorm? Last time I checked, he was shirtless. Well, checks out. Pre-gamed a little bit early in Morgantown. One thing I do need to do with this setup that I have now is I have that third screen over, it's over there, kind of by my computer. I should put it somewhere on the board in the back so I don't have to look to the side to check the chat. I can just glance up and see if anyone said anything. Okay. Again, not fantastic, but it's alright. Okay. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get some water. Some water to put the paint in and weather it that way. So I moved everything when I made this new workbench, and so I gotta find stuff again. So that's what I'm just doing right now, and I will be right back. Alright, there we go. We got the trusty makeup brushes. That's what I had to find. Alrighty. So the way I do this is, trying to think, I should probably do the deeper lines first. The deeper lines first with the airbrush, and then go around and do what I need to. So maybe that's what I should do. Okay, with the airbrush going, it's gotta start the compressor. So I'm gonna see how loud it is, and if it's not too loud, tell me it's okay. But if it's too loud, tell me, and I'll have to mute my mic every time. So, can you hear that? Is that too loud? Here, I'll do it again. If that was too loud, let me know, okay? Alright, good. Okay, so what I'm gonna be using is, this is speed paint, usually made for miniatures and like Warhammer. And so it's really thin, and so I like to use that to kind of start out and just block stuff out. Okay, let's start on somewhere that you won't notice if I mess up. Okay, so these right here, they need to be blacked out. Okay, no paint was coming out, so these old airbrushes might be time to go. There we go. Alright, so you can kind of see they're not clean lines, they don't need to be clean, but it's just adding some more depth and dimension. So compare that side to that side, right? So that's just kind of what I'm doing right now. What am I doing? I'm just adding some depth to the lines, the inside of the lines. I could use a brush, but what I would have to do instead of shooting airbrush in there, I'd have to dab it like that, and then I'd have to wipe away the paint, because I don't want that much paint. I just kind of want to get inside the lines right now, if that makes sense. I wanted most of the Snells gone, not all the Snells. I would have to wipe it down. I kind of need to adjust the camera. I like to raise my hand up and hold the stuff while I'm working. So the hard part with weathering I've found for me is just making stuff look random enough, because with weathering it's literally just random destruction, and so you just kind of have to let stuff be and happen. It's kind of like Bob Ross, happy accidents. It might look bad right now, but just realize this is like the base coat of like 20 coats. So there you go. Kind of get some depth going. Just adding lines. Alright. So I'll just kind of show you the process real quick. Gotta keep adjusting. The key to all of this, just letting stuff happen. Let it be. You don't mess it up. That's just what it's supposed to be. As Ron Swanson would say, this wood is not trying to be anything else. It's just trying to be wood. So you just gotta let it be. The only thing you can like mess up, I guess, is the consistency of the paint. Alright, let's do it. Here we go. So this is kind of what you do. You just kind of blot stuff down, and then you would take a paper towel and wipe it. Just make it look dirty. And I might need to thin it out a little bit. thin it out a lot a bit. You know, I would also. Oh, that's what you're getting. How you know if Jar Jar works, the whole thing works. But if Jar Jar fails, this whole movie will just fall on its face. I'm no movie director, but I feel like if I was making a movie, I wouldn't have the whole movie based around like one side character. There we go. See, now that's getting some weather to it. And I'll do different colors as well. It won't just be all black, but you just gotta kind of let, if it's thin enough, the paint will settle where it would naturally settle. Um, so that's kind of what the trick is, and that's a little bit thick, so um, so right there, I was able to, I don't know if I got that on the camera. So that really thin line, you just kind of tap, and it's just kind of going where it wants to go. And that will all dry. Another thing you can do too, and this will be later on, but you could seriously just flick that and it will splatter paint in random spots, and it will make it look like mud was flicked up and everything. But that's like, get the base coat down and then do that stuff. What I like though is this, like that's kind of looking like grease right now. Right there is how grease would kind of soak in random places, and that's looking good. And little details make the big thing. And sometimes it might be heavier, sometimes it might be lighter, just depends. The only place that I do need it heavier is like in this dark recess, in the dark recesses of my mind. No. Oh, sorry. Sadly, I don't have time. Yeah, I'll be sure to save it. So if you want to watch it later on, you can watch it and just skip ahead. I'll be sure to archive it though. Um, yeah, I'm happy to give any pointers you want. So comment what you would like to see, and I'll be sure next time I paint, because this is like one small part. This is one small part of the big battle droid. So tell me what you want to see, what techniques, like what you need help with, and then I will work on that with my other parts. Okay, but I'm gonna be doing this weekend, working on the battle droids. So just stay tuned and watch. And if you're not subscribed, like and subscribe. And again, this is a kind of a new area for me, so this angle might not be the best. I'll have to workshop a little bit. One thing that I think I might do after I'm done with this is make a little pit droid. And with that pit droid, I kind of want to make it look more weathered. And so I'll probably paint it more like a Mandalorian helmet, where you would weather it more and have like metal exposed and sticking through. See, and now I'm just going to let that run, and that's going to look good. Just let it run. Just let it be where it wants to be. But anyways, Calvin Taylor, I think if this, you'll check me out later. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Um, if I can start getting like streams, I honestly might just start streaming my builds, even though they take time. I think I like streaming better than just cutting up a video, if that makes sense. And I'm not making any sort of special battle droid. This is literally just infantry. If it was a different one, people have painted this like yellow. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna make a default battle droid. Something that fought the Gungans on Naboo. And I guess I probably didn't even need to do the airbrush because of this, but I just wanted to see what it would do. I think it is darker in there because of the airbrush, so maybe it was a good idea. Hey, there we go. I don't know if you can't see that, but that's silver paint underneath that's scratched away. And that's fine too. That's great. We're going to see something. There we go. That's adding some depth. That silver paint sticking through. That was my plan for it. But what I was going to do originally is you cover it in toothpaste of where you want to, keep the silver showing through. But I just was like, I gotta get this going, so I just skipped that part altogether. And so you can add little things like this, and that just adds more character and story. Like, that just adds some more damage. And it won't be that bright at the very end, because I am gonna cover it and then again wipe it down. Okay, got sidetracked. We're gonna continue with finishing up the back though. Okay, so with these, I think I am just gonna have to go in and just hand. I don't want to hand paint. I'm gonna airbrush it. Let me find my black airbrush paint right there. just gonna move that so we don't spill it. And then inside here, and since these are recessed, these are going to be like just dark, like black. The hard part with this, with the airbrush, I don't know if you ever used one before, but this is a double action airbrush, and so you press down to shoot out air, like that. But to get the paint going, you have to pull back like that. And so with my hands being so big and this being a small little airbrush, it's kind of challenging. I wish I had like a trigger right here that I can get going. I could probably find one, but that's another time. I'm gonna get this camera down here. Hold on. I gotta adjust this camera a little bit. I don't know if you guys even have a good angle. I think that's good right there. Yeah, I probably could. And honestly, I'm probably sure there's someone that's already done that. I just have to check and look into it. But these were the first airbrushes I bought, and so like they were good beginners for beginners. But now that I kind of know a little bit what I'm doing, I'd probably spring for some better ones. Because when you get like good with an airbrush, you really don't like. I'm not great with it yet. But once I get good, I've seen people be able to like make stuff that they would usually I would have to use for like a paintbrush for, but they're able to just zip around with the airbrush, and so that's kind of where the point I want to get to is just I want to get good with it. You should check out the You gotta wake up pretty early in the morning to get me with that, Calvin. Pretty early. Another thing I kind of want to try too is you can paint it like it'd be cool to get like a glancing blaster shot, and so it'd have to be like, I guess fanned out a little bit. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say there. Alright, hold on a second. So I can only do this right now because I have some time with the kids and they're taking their nap. So as soon as they wake up, I am going to have to just stop. But I will be continuing on this tonight. I have to get this droid done because it's going to be used uh, in a school assembly. So I got to get this done this weekend for that. And then after what I'm going to use this for is literally, this is just going to be a giant billboard. Not giant, I guess. It's going to be a billboard inside conventions for me. People will see it, they'll come over to my booth, and they'll be like, oh wow, that's really cool. And then they'll look at other stuff too. So what do you think about um, not making, like, maybe I'll make set videos and stuff, but honestly just streams, building streams of like this kind of stuff or assembly. Do you think it could work? I do need to work on my camera though. There we, like, need something like, I need a larger cord first off, but like I need to be able to face it towards the camera. Okay. So going with some more paint. Yeah, I could do that. That's not a bad idea. Hey, how's it going? Got a nice room. I would say that is, yes, pod racing. Now this is pod racing. Yeah, again though, I'd say the hardest part is just like I need people to be able to see what I'm seeing, and with the camera, the USB being so short, it's kind of hard to tell. And then when I'm going on something, I just start going, and I don't really wait. You know, Calvin, yeah, I have thought about that. Just eating the greasiest food you can think of, and using that to weather. I. What do you mean? What do you mean, Calvin? Alright, something's up with the airbrush, so we're not going to use that for a second until I figure it out. Another thing you could do too is you just get a paper towel. Sorry, I'm talking with the paintbrush in my mouth. You can get a paper towel and you can just lightly like turn it and dab it. And that adds some layers to it. 3D printing or painting 3D prints is a lot like an onion or an ogre. It has layers. Alright, let me find, I need to find, there's airbrush thinner, I need to find that. It's the streamer camera thing. I'll have to look it up. Are they expensive? So what you do with an airbrush is you have this pot right here, and I put the black paint in it, but it wasn't coming out, so I think it was too thick. And so I put some thinner in it, and then you press it down and pull it back, and it mixes it up, and you can kind of see it bubbling right there, and that's mixing up all the paint. We'll see if it will come out. There we go. Alright, so now it came out pretty strong. So yeah, it was just a little too thick. But that is just fine. Okay, I'm going to adjust the camera. So I'm going to hold the airbrush a little bit farther away, and so it's going to cover a larger area. I'm just going to kind of tint it. Flip to the back, kind of cover that as well. So this part is the part that holds the head onto the neck, and so I do kind of need to paint that at the same time so I can get relatively the same. So honestly, all I'm going to do is just tint it, because the only real place you're going to see is right here. Let's see how that looks. Hey, how's it going, Angel? Alright. Looks pretty similar. Good enough, right? When I stand up, I feel like I need to hold it closer, but I can't. Gotta do this sitting down so the camera can see. All right, that thing. Let me do some more in the middle, just because. Okay, that looks like it was in a battle. What do you think? All right, I'm gonna have to end the stream here, but I am gonna be streaming more tonight and how I build it. I'll probably do a couple more things. I was gonna take this burnt sienna and I was gonna kind of just dab it places with new colors, but that has to be it for me tonight or today, and I'll have to do some more tonight. But thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. And stop by later tonight, and I'll be going again. Have a good rest of the day.